Let me ask you a question. Why do some creators have millions of followers, but yet they struggle to connect with their people and make a living off of what they do? While a similar person with a similar business and similar skills can build a community around their craft and make more than just a genuine living out of it. I'll tell you, it's because these brands were never built on attention. Most business owners forgot about the connection. I am genuinely frustrated with the space at the moment, because if you're someone with real skill, you know your craft, you're posting consistently and the content you make is genuinely good, but then the few days after you press publish, it still feels like you're shouting into the void. The people who find you, they don't stick, and there's no clear path from what you're creating to making a genuine living out of it. I promise you this video is going to reframe everything for you. Now before we get into it and you ask who the heck is this guy and why should you listen in, I'm Jaden, a 20-year-old creator who's had hands behind the content strategy of 8 and 9-figure entrepreneurs, and now 26 plus emerging creators, where I'm taking the bet of helping them build multi-thousand person waitlists, tens of thousands of followers, and a community that genuinely roots for them. I don't blindly tell you that 10,000 followers is going to change your life. I won't tell you 100,000 would, because I've done it myself. Really quickly at that. And let me tell you, until I actually started building a connective personal brand, my positioning as a creator and my goals went nowhere. So today I'm going to give you that exact same blueprint. So what framework can we take home from this story, and how did I get out of that rut? Now I call this the connective architecture. 3 layers where most creators haven't filled all 3 of these. You might see some fill 1 or 2 of them, but all 3 is extremely, extremely rare. Layer 1 sticks into identity depth. Layer 2 is community infrastructure, and layer 3 is monetization through trust. Okay, let's start through layer 1, identity depth. See, most creators actually just share information rather than identity. And this plagues them because people will start to follow their journey, not really because it's their journey, but more so because of the niche that they're in and the insight they provide and the value that they give to their audience. It's like this dynamic: you start to post what you know, but you never post who you are or why your audience should even give a shit about you. And the problem is, without this proper depth, you'll have a situation where, you have a competitor A and a competitor B, and then you have yourself, right? And then the competition now becomes, who are we going to pick out of these people? Well, guess what? You no longer stand out because all of you are creating the same content. So the question happens to be, who's going to pick who, and how is that decision actually being made? And let me tell you, it's not the information that each of you provide. See, the winner is picked from who actually resonates with that avatar the most. It's about who you are. See, anybody can post the same tips, but nobody can replicate your story. No one can replicate your perspective, your identity, your point of view, the things you believe in, and the aspects of you that people associate you with. And this is even more important today because information is pretty much free everywhere now, especially with AI. So see, identity depth actually comes from engineering your brand foundations. This actually happens underneath the layer that is your content. It's the breakdown of your story, your values, and your ideal avatars, who you're attracting and who you're repelling. It's the thing that makes somebody feel like, this person gets me, before they even read a word of advice from you. You see, and this is just the first layer. And with this first layer alone, you can see the difference. The right people start to self-select themselves in. The wrong people start to bounce out of that circle. And that's not a loss from you. You're finding the right people and you're inviting them in. We're here to provide hospitality, not a factory environment. Then comes the second layer, community infrastructure. This one's really important. Even creators with an established identity depth often have this missing gap between, I've watched your content before and I'm actually a part of your build. And without this bridge, you're a content machine. People consume your stuff and then they leave. There's no relationship built, there's no trust there, and no one's really coming back for you. They're just coming back for what you're providing them. See, let's take someone in finance, because I'm from that background. See, you can post the best market recaps, market analysis on the internet and still hear crickets and have 0 paying customers. And that's not a content problem, but instead, that's a brand problem. There's very, very little interaction between you and the people who actually follow along your journey. And that's a sub-content problem. No amount of more volume or more consistency is going to solve the fundamental bottleneck of a broken foundation where the people involved and the people that you're connecting with can't interact with you. So give them something to interact with. Let them build with you. Let them work with you. Let them see exactly what's happening in the back end. You see, you need to break this misconception that business is entirely professional. It's personal, because this is something I say a lot, but people buy from people. And once you build this out, you start to turn this passive attention now into active connection. And you don't even need to change the way you deliver content, but this one positioning reframe transforms your content, your messaging, and the touch points that you can work with someone so they already feel like they belong to something. And yes, I know this is actually why I built the brand auditor. Because I know firsthand, not just from my clients, but also myself, that as creators, we can feel when something's off. You know, our engagement is shallow, our DMs are pretty quiet, and the opportunities and revenue just isn't really there. It isn't where we want it to be. But like the me 8 months ago wouldn't really be able to pinpoint exactly where it is. You know, what's actually stopping us. So I became my own product manager and I built the 6th Sense brand auditor. It's completely free and I'm making it available to everybody who I'm privileged enough to say have watched to this part of the video. It actually scores your brand across the 5 things that really matter. You know, your identity, your visual presence, your content strategy, and your community depth. And it shows you exactly where in this bridge your personal brand is actually broken. If you're ready and willing to implement these layers today, feel free to take the quiz, and it also gives you a pathway for us to potentially work together if that's your thing. But I genuinely say, if you want the clarity to unlock that brand presence, pause this video, take it, then come back, because layer 3 is going to hit completely different once you know your exact personalized gaps. Okay, the third layer is monetization through trust. See, most creators try to monetize an audience that doesn't trust them yet. It's like, yeah, they're good at what they do. Maybe they'll launch a guide, maybe a physical product or a software, even a coaching offer, but nobody really buys yet. And it's not because their offer is bad. It's because the relationship just isn't deep enough. See, let's go back to the example that I mentioned earlier, right? With the 3 different creators who are doing very, very similar things, okay? Let's actually do 2 creators. That's probably a lot easier, right? So you have creator A, creator B, and let's just say you're creator B. Now, both of you as creators are in the same niche, same industry, same everything. The difference is creator A will post, let's say fitness. So they post workout tips. You know, this is all technically solid. You know, he's got great production. It's awesome, right? These are what your fitness coaches are really always aiming for. They've got great aesthetics. They're extremely knowledgeable in their craft, but then that's basically all there is to it. This is creator A. Now let's look into creator B. So you have the same workout tips that this other creator A could provide, but instead of almost becoming the encyclopedia of the fitness creator world, what you're going to do as creator B is something a little bit different. You're going to share stories. You're going to share a lens. You know, you're going to actually push through why you started. What were some of the pains along the way? What were some of the triumphant milestones? What are some of the motivations and even just problem agitations that you go through? What were some of these? Let's actually look into some of these. Why you started. This is almost going to be a my story, right? Where you're actually breaking down the exact backstory behind where you are today. And that actually builds 2 things. It builds that first date relationship, but it also builds a little bit of your authority. It shows why people should listen to you in the first place. Then the pains, it's more relatability. It's people understanding that, well, you've actually gone through the struggle as well. You're not speaking at the apex anymore. You're speaking as a step-by-step leader. The triumphant milestones, this is really to show the checkpoints. This is really so that when somebody hops onto your page and they're on the similar part of the journey that you're in, maybe they're not nearly as knowledgeable in the fitness space. Let's go to personal finance as well. Maybe they don't know the market nearly as well as you. Small wins, like you put your first $100,000 into your stock portfolio, you sharing those things actually point when and where you've actually hit those milestones, so that when people look back at that and they say, hey, I'm at that milestone that this person hit, 6 months ago, then they come along and follow to see where they might be in that time. They're building a better relationship with you. And it's the same thing with motivations and problem agitations. If you can understand well why you do what you do, and people can follow along with why you do what you do, then it's pretty much a free kick. Because remember, as I might have mentioned in the segment slightly earlier, people buy from people. See, one character has information, while the other has identity. That is the major difference between the two brands. And that is brand engineering on 3 layers. So to connect with our audience, we push on 3 different layers: identity depth, community infrastructure, and monetization through trust. See, this is what brand engineering is. It's not some fancy content strategy that gives you millions and millions of views overnight. It's not growth hacking. It's actually engineering the thing underneath that helps you create, so that the right people find you, connect with you, and actually stay. And if you were to take anything from this entire segment, your brand deserves that sense of connective community. And that connective community then deserves a business where you can help them achieve what they want.